One of the prime reasons for this rise in Islamophobia has been because it's an election year. We've seen that in every election year since 9/11, Islam is used as a wedge issue. You know, it used to be the worst thing you could say about a person was that they were liberal or that they supported abortion or gay marriage. Well, this year's theme is Islam, and it certainly doesn't help that there are shootings that occur around the world in which Muslims are involved.
Unfortunately, Islam is misused these days by some people or groups for their own political gains, by both extremist Muslims and extremist non-Muslims. They misinterpret or use Quranic verses out of context to serve their own agendas. As Muslims, we are not responsible for the acts of the extremist individuals, but as a community, we have a responsibility to educate our children about the real and the true teaching of Islam, so that they know right from wrong. We have to protect our children, not only from extremists who try to reach them on the internet, but also extremists who wants to harm them in schools, their homes, or in our mosques. We need to come together as Americans to uphold our values of tolerance, diversity, religious freedom, and to support one another.
Inasmuch as we know what it is to be an American, to be tolerant, to stand for the values of inclusion, to understand that we are all immigrants in this country, we also understand that the country in moments of fear, in moments of concern, can sometimes give way to bigotry and to hatred and to things that as time passes we come to understand we regret as blots on our history. So we are gathered here today for two reasons. One, with all of our diversity, to say that we stand with the Islamic community, that we recognize that the appalling and shocking acts of the extremists do not represent the ideology or the religion or the values of the Islamic faith, and we will stand with you in telling that story, but also that we will stand with you generally against hatefulness and bigotry in our community, and that we need all of you, that we all must come together to reject hatefulness, to reject bigotry, and to reject violence wherever it comes from. You don't need to be an expert in history to know that the Islamic faith has absolutely no monopoly on splinter elements that reject the core values of its faith and go in a direction that appalls, frankly, the vast majority of our adherents. As a Christian, as a member, as an elder in the Presbyterian Church, I'm conscious that some of the worst violence and appalling crimes committed in the last 2,000 years of history were committed by my own religion. And of course, every religion out there has that what it must answer for when it deviates from the core values of love and inclusion.
We have to embrace the differences that make us so much stronger as a nation rather than what divides us. And this is almost 2016. We really should be having different conversations nationally than tearing apart somebody else's religion or trying to scapegoat something else that happened. We should not be scapegoating an entire people, a religion, or anybody else for the actions or the extremists that are a few.
Whether you be Muslim, Christian, or Jew, or for that matter of any other religious persuasion, I would only hope that we can find peace on earth and goodwill to all men, and not let religious bigotry and hatred or extremists who would wrap themselves in a cloak of religious intolerance dictate our lives and our futures.